Hello everyone, it's Justin Dawson from the All Things TechIE podcast. This following episode of our podcast was recorded during Infocomm 2024 that recently took place in Las Vegas. Our Infocomm 2024 coverage is sponsored by X2O Media, Logitech, Nereva and Wirestorm. While you may be listening to this audio podcast, I always recommend watching the video version from our YouTube channel or from our official website. I want to thank you for all your support as we come closer to our 100th episode of All Things Techie, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends. Enjoy the show from Infocomm 2024 live in Las Vegas.
Here's the show that loves to talk about gadgets and gizmos, from A-Logic to Yamaha, cameras to control panels. You get what I mean. We love talking all things techie. In fact, that's the name of the show. And here is your host,
Justin Dawson from the All Things Techie podcast, and we are on the first day of Infocomm, and you can hear that the noise has increased. And the carpet's down, and the smells of carpet glue all over the place. And we're going to be taking a look at the Logitech booth in a short while, doing a full tour of Logitech and the great things that they have, because Logitech is sponsoring the All Things Techie podcast out at Vegas at the moment at Infocomm 2024. So up on this floor you can see that there's a load of audio demos going on the first floor beside the central hall, between Shure, between all the audio companies, Sennheiser, etc. They're all up on the top floor giving demos. Some great stuff coming out from Shure.
Another really cool feature is the virtual acoustic boundary that will come on the MX-A920. So currently, the MX-A920 offers the ability to create coverage areas. So out of the box, it covers a 30 by 30 space. You can also go in and create sort of these 3 coverage areas, as you see on the screen there. So in this space, maybe we're covering a U-shaped conference table, right? So you'll see talker A, right? Talker A is within the coverage area. And as that individual speaks, that microphone will gate on. That microphone audio will pass to the far end. But today, what we know is that there may be talkers outside of the active coverage area. So you'll see talker B. Unfortunately, at this point, that talker B may still be captured. You may still hear them on the far end. They won't sound as clear, they may sound muffled, but you're going to still hear them on the far end. And for people that are communicating and collaborating remotely today, that can be really distracting, right? That can create some productivity issues. So what we're adding when we introduce virtual acoustic boundary is we're essentially greatly reducing, if not completely eliminating, talkers outside of the active coverage area. So with this feature, talker B will no longer be heard on the far end. If they will be, it will be greatly reduced. So this is a really great feature that kind of improves the quality and clarity that you're going to get with your MX-A920. Sounds pretty cool, right? So let's demo it. Let's hear it, right? Let's put it to work. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a quick demo. You'll see here in this space, there's an MX-A920 above your head. There's 4 of our MXN5 speakers, and I have a little recording rig here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a quick recording of a space as a baseline. So what you see is this plans view, is this actual room here with the MX-A920. That blue area is actually your coverage area. So we're covering this entire space currently. So let's just take a quick level set of what it sounds like when we have one talker within the coverage area. And I'll play that back for you. So my name is Vanessa. I am standing in the coverage area, and this is what it sounds like when you have a talker in the active coverage area. So my name is Vanessa. I am standing in the coverage area, and this is what it sounds like when you have a talker in the active coverage area. So it sounds pretty good, right? I'm an active talker, I'm in the coverage area, very clear and intelligible audio. Let's divide this room in half and remove me from the coverage area, and let's have coverage on the opposite side of the room. So we're just going to take basically coverage of that half of the room. and we'll have basically me outside of that coverage area, and we'll do that same recording. So I'm outside of the coverage area, and this is what it sounds like when you have a talker outside of the coverage area. Could I ask someone on the other end of the room to talk for me, please?
Hi, I'm in the coverage area on the wall.
You may not be, but we'll see.
Maybe I am, yeah, we'll see.
So I'm outside of the coverage area, and this is what it sounds like when you have a talker outside of the coverage area. Could I ask someone on the other end of the room to talk for me, please?
Hi, I'm in the coverage area on the wall.
You may not be, but we'll see.
Maybe I am, yeah, we'll see.
So you are in the coverage area. I was outside of the coverage area, but that's the current performance we have with the MXA 920. So as a talker outside of the coverage area, you can still hear me, right? I was muffled, I was lower, but sir, what's your name?
David?
David. David sounded clear and intelligible. So that, again, is kind of where we're at today. So with the addition of the virtual acoustic boundary, what we have is the ability to remove my audio from, and reduce my audio from this recording that we're gonna do next. So I guess maybe you could help me again with the next demo. So I'll talk and then I'll ask you a question if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, so I am standing outside of the coverage area, and how are you doing today? Is this your first Infocomm, second Infocomm?
This is my second Infocomm.
Awesome, that sounds great. All right.
This is my second Infocomm.
So hopefully what you heard there is, I was really reduced if you heard me at all, and your audio was very clear coming through. So this is a great feature that we'll bring to the MXA 920, and essentially we're not doing anything special here, right? We are essentially enabling this feature, and we've got high quality audio inside the coverage area, and we're starting to eliminate and reduce audio outside of the coverage area. So very more focused kind of conversations allow you to be more productive and effective overall. So that's a really exciting feature that we're going to bring to the MXA 920, again, coming soon.
So let's go back into Central Hall, take a walk around, see if there any new cool stuff that I have not shown you from before from ISE. And show you the whole grass of Central Hall.
The 2X.
And here's a great example of the difference between ISE and Infocomm. Right behind me here is badge registration. There's no queue. There's actually zero queue. Look at the amount of desks that are here for badge registration just in Central Hall. Now, don't get me wrong, listeners and viewers. The West Hall is probably the bigger hall. The crowd might be all over there. But on day 2, there's no one here for badge registration, which means like people are being processed fast, and people are also able to just use their app, scan, get their badge printed, and in they go. I love coming over to Infocomm and we meet people that I've talked to for years and years, even pre-COVID. And finally get to meet Paul from PTZ Optics. What cool stuff have you got out, Paul?
Well, it's so good to see you, Justin. The world has changed so much. Over the past couple of years, everyone's streaming, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that started streaming for the first time, all over, right? And they've got this and they've got that, but I feel like a lot of people aren't 100% happy with the system.
No.
And so we've come up with PTZ Optics Hive, and what this does is it allows us to unify, I'll show you the kind of the slide here. It allows us to unify all of the live streaming systems that are out there if you're a church and you have multiple locations, or if you're a school and you want to let students or teachers or coaches gain access to your live streaming systems, we can provide that remote access with Hive. We're also showing our auto tracking cameras.
Nice.
Let me see if I can get it to track you, Justin.
Yeah, we got it.
This is our new web interface.
Very slick.
and I will show. I'm going to track you around.
Okay.
And it's probably tracking this guy now, so I'll turn it off. And I'm going to track Justin.
Okay.
If I were to track you.
You also have your new keypads and everything going on.
Keypads. All right, so let's zoom in on you first, Justin.
There I am. Don't even know what camera is tracking me.
And we're going to follow you around. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn auto tracking on, and what you're going to see here is it's going to allow me to select a target. Not that person. So we are going to select not that person. We're going to select
There's
you.
me. Hello.
Now go ahead and take a walk.
I'm going to take a walk away from the stage.
Again, we're always on PTZ. We
It's very fast, very responsive. I could be walking anywhere in this booth, and it's walking and following me. Yeah.
So that's great for lecture capture, house of worship, and then the ability to remotely control and produce all of this stuff with auto tracking is really enabling remote production and new workflows that this industry's never seen before.
But what I love about PTZ Optics as well is you have such a range from those that want to do podcasting, like myself, and go from home. So I still use your PTZ Optics camera at home, the studio cam, and I also have a Biam camera as well. So we're doing a bit of a mixed match. But like, it is a nice camera, you know. So you have your keypads. You can do the auto tracking, or you have your keypads as well, and your Hive workflow. It's a nice setup. Yeah. For more information, where do we go?
You can go to ptzoptics.com and reach out to us and let us know. Obviously, we work through our resellers and our channel partners, so please reach out to them to get demos. And for you, Justin, I know that sometimes if you want to do a live demo for someone, it's just send a link, control the camera. It's that.
Love that. I love the fact that you're able to control it remotely. Paul, great to meet you. Great to finally meet Paul Richards from PTZ Optics. Paul and I have been talking about content production and streaming and cameras for many years, and he does great show and tells of the new products that are available from PTZ Optics. Google's behind me with some of their little booths, Project Starline. We have Infocomm with a stage here for AI experience. We will have a look at the AI game plan for AV integrators. That's coming up at 11. Remember this booth as well. That was from ISE as well, the Kudu speech translator. I still love this software, and we have to get a demo of this at some stage. All around these booths is stuff about AI, advanced robot solutions, AI robot, AI avatar. We're going to stay around for this AI experience talk that starts at 11 o'clock.
Gosh, it's a little intimidating seeing everybody sitting down. You all look super important, so I'll see if I don't get too nervous up here. My name is Bill Fonz. I'm with a company called PTG out of Detroit. We're going to do like some quick intros. Just know that we're all brilliant people, so don't worry about any of that. We've been getting together as friends, and actually we're competitors in the like, believe it or not. And Bryn works for one of the consultants out there, high-end consultant. But we decided that there is a reason to get together and talk about this new sort of world of generative AI. And the elevation of that, the water that rises lifts all boats. And we think that there's an important thing for our industry. So we've been geeking out for a long time. We thought this would be a great thing to come out here and sort of share some of the insights that we've discovered together. So we'll do very quick intros, and then we'll jump in and get started. And hopefully we have some fun here. So again, my name is Bill Fonz, PTG. Bryn, if you could just introduce yourself.
Yep, I'm Bryn Welker. I'm an AV systems designer and partner at Kierkegaard, almost 50-year-old acoustics firm.
Hey everybody, Blaine Brown. I'm with Diversified. I currently am a director of machine intelligence. I'm moving into a VP of innovation role. Been in the industry about 25 years, and I'm happy to be here and talking to you guys.
And I'm Mark Coxon, Director of Business Development for XTG. We're the Experience Technology Group within AVI SPL.
So again, pretty impressive that you're all here because this is the first time we've heard about AI, right? I mean, this year is the show where AI just came through the woodwork, and then to see you all here, we better bring some good stuff. So let's dig right in. Mark, I'm going to go to you first with a question, and you guys, we want like audience participation, questions. You want to call us out on something, you want to debate, argue, whatever. Just raise your hand, and we'll throw something at you so you can talk. So to start, Mark, let's go to you. What role will AI have in the AV experiences space, the sector, as you see it today?
Yeah, I think there's not a place that AI won't play a role in experiential spaces. I always say that, everything we do as audiovisual technologists is interpreted through the soft, squishy matter of a human being, right? So at the end of the day, our experiences, no matter how technical they are, they're subjective. And if something's going to be subjective, then the power to move somebody is in personalization. And AI gives us the chance to personalize things on a way that we've never done before. Like we're seeing agencies that can build out things in Unreal, build out a model, scale it all out, skin it, have a car that could drive through this city, and depending on who's viewing that car will be a four-door car if they're a family member, the city will be Chicago if it's moving through, it'll show the lake at night, and 20,000 people can be served up the same piece of content simultaneously in 20,000 different ways, because AI is taking that demographic data, reskinning these digital models that we build in Unreal, etc., and personalizing that to our customers, right? So if you think about that and walking through, if you're a healthcare company and you want to talk about the power of your product, your platform, your vaccines or your surgical equipment to a customer, imagine the power of somebody coming in and you knowing some of their demographic data that they've shared. And it's not only what it means to the world, but what it means to me specifically. And being able to really communicate people on a one-to-one basis actually moves hearts and minds, which is what changes the world. So I think AI gives us that power.
So you mentioned Unreal. Are you talking about the video game Unreal? So if we all have kids, I know mine sits at home playing mindless games all day. Is there hope that there's something that they can do out there in the world when we're all done with this? You're talking about Unreal Engine, right?
Yeah, so Unreal Engine, if you don't know, is a gaming engine, right? But it's beyond games at this point. So the same reason that NVIDIA, if you are investors, NVIDIA in the last couple years has done this, right? I wrote about NVIDIA 8 years ago. I should have put money in it. It went up 75 times in stock price since I wrote about it 8 years ago. Because what NVIDIA is doing is they're not just focusing on games, they're focusing on the fact that parallel processing is what drives AI, right? Parallel processing is how a brain works, and being able to have a GPU that can do all these equations simultaneously, can drive a self-driving car, can drive a surgical robot, can drive all of these other things. In the same way, Unreal is not just for gaming anymore. We're seeing Unreal in enterprise broadcast, we're seeing Unreal in creating digital twins of factories, we're seeing Unreal in all of these other areas that are no longer gaming and places that we have great potential in AV to make an impact.
There are architects who use Unreal.
Oh, architects. So yeah. Unreal is out there in a lot of places, right? You think we'll see them at a show like this at some point?
We should be having them at this show.
That's a good idea.
You're seeing them indirectly already. I mean, there's booths in this hall and the other hall that are supporting like virtual sets, for instance, right, for XR stages, and a lot of that technology is running on Unreal right now.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a gentleman from Unreal speaking at ISE earlier this year. So
yeah, the keynote I don't know if it was this year, but I know last year at ISE the keynote was the gentleman from Epic Games, Unreal Engine.
So virtualization, the metaverse, I guess being immersed within the program that you're working in is a really big deal, and we're going to see more of that. So we talk about some of the things that you're working on at XTG as it relates to AI. Are customers coming to you for this sort of thing? Are you having to talk to them? Is it sort of an inward program, or are you where do you start? I'm thinking back, put my old school hat on here, of the early days of digital signage. It took like a decade for us to get that thing off the ground, and I think we were caught up in whether you have a digital signage screen and you have content, you needed people to place ads, and you needed people to actually buy those ads. And where are we at with that whole ecosystem as it relates to AI? Are we just at the very beginning, or how does that look?
Yeah, sure. So, we do have customers coming to us, but it's still relatively new. I mean, I think that this last year and a half is where the conversations have really started picking up. And so, we're looking at it as AI is affecting every aspect of everything we do, and it potentially becomes a superpower for a lot of people, right? I mean, there's efficiencies that can be gained by leveraging the tools responsibly and looking for ways of creating efficiencies with AI. So it's kind of interesting because you have these kind of evolutionary changes that we've all witnessed over, in my career with 25 plus years, where, there was the digital analog, are going digital to IP and then to cloud and, all these sorts of things. And those were all kind of one-to-one replacements to some degree. And this is more of a one-to-many replacement, right? It's affecting every aspect. It's not just, the client-facing technology that we're looking to create, whether it's creative stuff, and experiential, but it's also the processes that all of us use as integrators to drive efficiencies in our own business, right? And so what we've done is we try to identify the bottlenecks, and we look for the low-hanging fruit, right? I mean, every process in every company is essentially like an assembly line, and if you can identify that hiccup or that bottleneck that's making you slow, everything else runs at the same pace as that bottleneck. So if that's your design engineering or your procurement or whatever it might be, there's likely a mechanism there where you can drive additional efficiencies by leveraging machine intelligence to make that process faster without necessarily always having to add additional people to make that process faster, or additional platforms or new ERP in some cases. In some cases you need that, but in some cases you don't. And so that's kind of where we're focusing, is kind of doing that, and then also wanting to layer a layer of machine intelligence into the products and services, whether it's managed services or creative services.
So, you talked about 10 years. I mean, it's not gonna be anything near that, right? We recently had a project open at a university that was an XR stage. Within 3 months, I got a call about doing it at a high school, because the people at that high school saw the XR stage. There's no way a high school could do an XR stage without AI, because they wouldn't have the capability of actually producing the content to put on the screens. So in our conversations, I don't even expect to talk to my clients about AI. I want them to assume that I am already doing it. And the things that would typically be the functions that they have in a theater or a concert hall, it's my job as the designer to make sure that I'm looking at how AI can make things better for them, reduce their costs for them, expand their resources. And I'll give you an example of that. So I'm working on our projects are long lead. So I'm working on a 1,200 seat concert hall right now that won't open until 2029. Now, right. So I have to design for 2029. It's enough to design for 2026 right now. However, one of the things that I know will be different, and my friends who sell LED will be happy to hear this, a lot of venues don't want LED walls because they don't think they can keep them filled with great content. The AI curator solves that. Right now, Carnegie Hall spends over $1 million just curating content for their video walls. It's not going to cost anything. Huge. And I expect that change to be, it's not going to be 2029. I'm going to be telling my clients who I just did the video wall for, you're still worried about your content? Here's your answer.
So, Bryn, real quick, tell us what an XR stage is, just to go back to that just for a second.
Sure. So an XR stage, if you think The Mandalorian or Poor Things, it's LED walls that enable you to render backgrounds that become the scenes for your film or production, whatever it is that you're producing. And what's great about it is it means that production can be distributed, so actors can be anywhere. It means that if you need to make a change to the set, you're not waiting for someone to physically do something. You're changing a line of code and the set is changed in
So very interesting talk going on there about AI. I could listen to that for the next hour or two, but time's against me at the moment. Is AI going to take 10 years to develop? No, it isn't. Especially some of the comments about people working on projects that are supposed to come out in 2029, and how quickly AI is changing things, that, you know, can you actually plan that far ahead? No, you can't. One thing's for certain at Infocomm is there is definitely a lot more food booths. I mean, everywhere I go, every corner I go, there's food booths, barbecue, sub, pizza, you name it, it's here inside the hall. And there's no massive queues either to get food or to get coffees or whatever. And of course then you will have your booths that will have tea and coffees complimentary to bring into the booth. But it's so more spacious. I'm not tripping over anyone walking around here at Infocomm. So we're still in audio, we still have a lot of cables going on here, speakers, high industrial cables, racks, all down this end of the central hall. A lot of American companies, Studio Master, VizRT, you have your mobile cases going on, flight cases of all sizes and descriptions. And then for some reason down this end of the hall, maybe just space requirements, is the Infocomm Esports Live 2.0. Let's have a look at this.
And then we win on that side, and I can see the sparks of light. I can see the shakes start to get off the skinny games. And in Rocket League, these best of 3 scenarios they're kind of short. The traditional best of 5s and best of 7s, that's a bit long for a show experience, but you know that sometimes, very often, people that even go 3-0 in the best of 7 can still come back in like a 4-0.
The amount of technicians it takes to actually pull off this esports arena here.
Look at that inner strength in them to pull it out in the first sweep. Yeah, you gotta get that recovery on. At the end of the day, it's all about how you finish and not how you start sometimes. We've seen already examples of that in this tournament. We got to see Ponzo, Kai, and of course Rubik's from the USC squad as we panned over our teams a little bit earlier with their coach, behind them, supporting them. I'd love to get to hear from these coaches on these panels as well that's been going on in between the games. A shout out to all the college representatives that have been out here today, but we have gameplay ready and on deck. We're going to be getting into that right now. So Torque, I need to hear your predictions when we jump in the game. Who's taking this and what's the score looking like?
All right, now I may be a little bit biased here. I'm going to root for my team. But I'm thinking these two teams are kind of matched in skill level. You know? Okay. So I'm thinking not a straight 2-0. I'm thinking maybe a 2-1 here for Talladega. As we start off with the kick off, a nice kick off by Talladega already. NK on the ball, waiting for a little touch. Got the demo off.
Yeah, the 40 demo
with the clear.
Sin gonna be able to grab that off the wall, but Ponzo in the sky is that
MK
guy.
With a nice shot on net, looking for a bump, and it's in the net. What a beautiful shot by MK.
What a great start from Dega. You see the setup.
That is very, very cool. USC, University of Southern California, where we were earlier in the week, where Joe Way, of course, used to work. They're competing out. I don't even know what type of game I can explain to you. It's like, it's cars with a football trying to score goals. But these esports make serious amount of money. And down this end of the hall is Yamaha with their big double-decker booth. Take your pick of boots behind me. We have Poly's HP, Wirestorm, who we will be talking to tomorrow on the All Things Techie podcast. VU Wall, we have Midwich over there, Kramer just behind it, and then the central hall just goes back and back.
Thank you for tuning in to All Things TechIE podcast, part of the Extreme Media Network. Follow us on Twitter at AVTechJunkies. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch our show on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/@Justin_or_Dawson. Previous episodes of our show can be found on our official site, www.allthingstech.ie. For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, please visit www.extrememedia.ie.